Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live session. So, guys, we have a very, very interesting topic to share with you all. Peter Obi's legal team has succeeded in filing their appeal. You know, they were able to meet up with the deadline. We all know that tomorrow will be the last day. Tomorrow is the last day, and they were able to make it today. And for us, honestly, it calls for happiness, it calls for joy. And do you know what? In this appeal, they came out, raw. They came out ready to fight to finish. I mean it. The Supreme Court will not have any other option than to look into the real facts in this appeal. And for Atiku, um, we don't really know what will become of him because I believe he's still waiting for the US to give him those information he's seeking, from the Chicago State University. So the PDP has not been able to file their own appeal. And let's just hope that they might do that tomorrow. But does it mean that the US is trying to frustrate him? Does it mean he'll be filing this appeal without that information that we've been talking about here on this channel? I mean, the certificate that was gotten from the University of Chicago. Will Atiku be able to use it, in backing up whatever content he has in his appeal or not? That is a question we can't really answer. Let's see how all this play out tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be the deadline. So I'm going to be bringing Dr. Tell in to give us detail. Not really that we just want to look at maybe a summary of what this appeal has in it, what it contains. Then maybe coming days, we'll be digging deep into some of them, breaking it down so that we'll all know what Peter Obi's legal team have penned down. We really need to know so that when the Supreme Court start its hearing, we also want to understand if they are following what we want them to follow. So Dr. Etel, please come in here and give our viewers more information on this breaking news.
Yeah, good evening, Nigerians and the lovers of Nigeria. I am actually very, very, very happy this evening. I am upbeat. In fact, it was now that I looked at myself that I'm wearing this shirt and I'm like, why is it that most times when you are really, really, really ready that you're wearing this shirt? Maybe this shirt reminds me that I'm at the best of my moment. My mood is high. You know, when I grabbed this document earlier today and I was just devouring it, and I'm like, it's playing a wonderful music in my ears. I'm like, these guys are lawyers, and I am happy. Now, why am I saying so? I would like to backtrack a bit. After the appeal court delivery of their judgments 2 weeks ago, a lot of people from around the world, they called and say, hi, what these judges said, how could Labour Party have made such a mistake? And I said to them, hold on, did you read their petition? They said no, but from what we're listening from the judges, I said, that's the problem. I said, I read the petition from A to Z. I read the Labour Party's closing statement. I read their final address, all of them. And as I said on this platform, I printed the Evidence Act. I checked every paragraph of their arguments from their initial petition submitted in March to their final addresses and the reply they gave to APC and the president. I said, I looked at the Constitution, I looked at the Evidence Act, I looked at all those things. And I can tell you that what the appeal court did was a miscarriage of justice. And some of these people who were asking me, they were very respectable people in society. Many of them are even lawyers who feels like, yes, even though I'm a lawyer, but what do you have to say? And I started taking them one after the other, from the paragraphs of the petition to the final address, and say, how could a judge do a thing like this? Now, fast track it now to this particular petition, this particular appeal. After the judgment 2 weeks ago, Nigerians were downcast. All of us were demoralized. All of us were angry. because of the miscarriage of justice. But we said something. We said it is nice for Labour Party to appeal, even PDP to appeal, because so far, Peter Obi and Labour Party have been winning. Peter Obi won the first battle by mobilizing Nigerians to come out to vote. He won the second battle by exposing the rots in our judicial system as manifested by the appeal courts. And we said, let them go to the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court is a final arbiter. Whatever they say is final. If the Supreme Court finally hits the gavel and endorse what the appeal court said, then we can be rest assured that the judiciary is rotten from the head. You know, like they say, if a fish is rotten from the head, that fish is gone. Because I still believe that maybe the Supreme Court might wake up to do the right thing. And if the Supreme Court wakes up to do the right thing, they would have redeemed the image, the integrity, and the sanctity of our judicial system. But if the Supreme Court endorses it, well, shame on all of us as a country. And that is only a man like Peter Obi that can push the Supreme Court to that breaking point of either redeeming their image or completely, wrecking the hope, the expectation, and the aspirations that Nigerians have on the judicial system. And how can it happen if they do not come up, if Peter Obi's lawyers do not come up with a very strong appeal to the Supreme Court? And when I opened this appeal, what I liked, their opening statement was straightforward. They told the Supreme Court judges that, listen, the members of the panel of the appeal court that delivered the judgment, that they erred in law completely. Let me read it. Nigerians, listen. There is no need. Let me just read for you what you people will see here. They started by saying, as you can see on the screen there, and the screen looks very, it says here, if you were to go to the second schedule, which is practically something you may not be able to see, it says part 2. It says part 2 of the decision complained of. It says the whole decision in the appeal, number CA/PEPC/03/2023, Mr. Gregory Peter Obi and others versus Independent National Electoral Commission, as contained at pages 3 to 327 of the judgment. You know what that means? They said that the whole appeal was a miscarriage of justice. That's number 2. That's the way they started. So there is no robbing of, like they say, he that is on the ground need fear no fall. They might as well just go there and challenge all this miscarriage of justice, and now sit back and see whether with this strong evidence, the Supreme Court will still come and say, we heard you, but we still follow what the appeal court said. If they say so, that will be an embarrassment to the judicial system in Nigeria. Now, when they continued further, they continued here by saying particulars of error, because they keep saying that the judges erred in error. They say, first of all, the court below overlooked the facts of the appellant's pleading, that certain facts and documents were captured in a particular pleading by incorporation or reference, did not amount to concession that those facts were not pleaded. Because some of those things the judges were saying, oh, you didn't plead this, you didn't plead this. They pushed it back to them and said, for the fact, it says it is incorporated. It says the court below overlooked the fact of the appellant's pleading that certain facts and documents were captured in a particular pleading. You remember that when you're submitting the petition, you have limited number of pages. So what they said, if you have read the petition, for some of us here, if you've read the petition, there were places they said, we will rely on this document when the case starts. They made reference to those documents. We will rely on this We will rely on channels news evidence. We will rely on this. So they came back to the court and said they did not plead all those things. Whereas they incorporated it in their what? Petition. But the question you may ask is did they do it according to law? Now listen. They said, number 2, paragraph 15 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act 2022, which the court below relied upon, was inapplicable to the issue in contention. For instance, they kept saying something like IREV is not necessary. INEC, they will determine the way with which they will transmit or what have you. But the law specifically said you cannot do collation without reference to IREV. So even when they are asking for the polling unit agents to come, Labour Party was not actually fighting the battle that happened at the polling units. They are fighting the battle that happened at the collation point. Nigerians, are you listening? The judges were ruling with respect to polling units. The Labour Party is saying our worry is at the collation point. INEC themselves, in paragraph 2.9.0 of their guideline, of their manual, said that the biggest problem they have is not even at the polling unit, but at the collation point. But the judges veered off everything about collation point. So the Labour Party have been able to point them back to it in their point the judges to that in their appeal. Whether, now listen to me, Nigerians, whether they will listen is a different thing. But at least let us be happy. I don't know, there is this statement they used to say from my area in Nigeria that a cockerel says that the reason why he is, making noise in the morning, it's not that the person who is holding him has left him, but let the world just hear, oh, I am in trouble, oh, even if they kill me, I have raised the alarm. At least let us be sure that this party, let us be sure that Peter Ob's legal team, let us be sure that our principal has done what they are supposed to do. We can now leave the rest to God. As I said, it is a devil's alternative option meal that Peter Obi is cooking for the Nigerian judiciary. Anywhere they go, Peter Obi will be the winner. Whether he becomes the president or not, he will be the winner for posterity. He will be the winner for Nigeria. He will be the winner in any way. Because if they decide to embarrass themselves, all of us will know. As we have seen the appeal court embarrass themselves. If they decide to uphold justice, all of us will know. Now, if you move on to, I think that is I'm reading from page 3. What you have there is page 2. There's no need. What is contained in this page 2 it's a very long one. But if you look at page 3, see, it says, the court below overlooked the fact that by paragraph 4, subsection 5C of the first schedule of the Electoral Act 2022, a petitioner such as the appellant herein may only list documents being relied on at the hearing of the petition without front-loading them by way of attachment. Nigerian, I don't hear them. They are not saying that they did it out of convenience. These lawyers are not saying those documents were not omitted out of convenience. They followed the rule. Section 4, subsection 5C of the Electoral Act specified that if there are documents you want to rely on, mention it in your petition. Then in the court, bring it, let us see. And that was what the Labour Party did. But do you know the funny thing? The funny thing is, okay, let me put it this way. Verse D, let's look at number D. It says, the appellants exercise their option. You know, when they say the appellants, they are referring to themselves. The appellants exercise their option of listing all those documents pleaded in the body of their petition by incorporation stroke reference, hence complied with the said paragraph 4, subsection 5C of the first schedule of the Electoral Act. They are trying to say, we fulfilled what is written in the law. Why are you punishing us? And then look at it in E. It says, a party cannot and should not be penalized for scrupulously complying with both statutory and judicial laws settled in Nigeria. Labour Party was punished for obeying the law. Whereas INEC that broke the law, we are not even patted at the back. They were clapped for. So what it means is, let me do it like, you know, those things we do in the lab. Let me do my glass like this. What it means is that when the Labour Party Council were trying to submit the application, their petition initially, they brought the rule book. How are we going to? How did they say we should do this? Okay, they say there is no need to bring all those documents now. All you just need to do is reference them. Then when you come there, bring them. You know what it means? Let me give you an example. If you have made application for visa, maybe UK visa or US visa, you fill a form and all the documents, they call it supporting document, no be so. The documents you want to submit, you mention them. Your passport number, your marriage certificate, the date of your marriage. And now they say, come to our visa center in Ikoyi, come to our visa center in Abuja, come to our visa center in Ikeja, and bring the physical documents. So what you now did is that you have already told them the documents you bring, and when you appear, you now come with that physical document and they check it. But what the judges are saying is that, no, you must use DHL, first of all, to submit the documents before coming. But the law didn't say so. So the question is, where did Labour Party err? And that is one of the reasons why people thought that this judgment delivered 2 weeks ago was not written by those judges. Because no judge will flagrantly abuse and abandon the system they know. Okay, let's move to page 4. Let's move to page 4 now. Look at what they said in page 4. F, it says, the authority of Nigerian Merchant Bank PLC versus Ayedun Investment Limited, 1997, relied upon by the court below is totally irrelevant in this case. Let me now explain to you what I meant before. Did you remember Atlanta 1996? During the Atlanta 1996, FIFA brought out a new rule. And that new rule is that when it comes to knockout stage, quarterfinal, semi-final, or finals, and the full 90 minutes have been played, no winner emerged. The moment they enter extra time, any party that scores first is the winner. You remember that? That was how Nigeria defeated Brazil in the quarterfinal of Atlanta 96 Olympic. Because Nigerians were down, the Brazilians were giving it hard to Nigerians. But Nigerian boys bounced back in the second half and equalized. It became, I think it was 3-3. And they now entered extra time. Our own Papilo Kanowanko scored what is called that goal. But because there is a new rule that says the moment a goal is scored in extra time, the match is over. That was how Nigeria won. Now, let me ask us a question. If the Brazilians say, no, not even the Brazilian, if the referee, because he didn't like Nigeria, say, no, we must play the full 15 minutes, the full 30 minutes of extra time. Is he not going against the rule that FIFA set? That is exactly what the appeal court judges did. The appeal court judges forgot that the Electoral Act 2022 is a new law entirely. And they were still referring to Electoral Act of 2011, Electoral Act of 2003. They are using judgments that were decided based on the conditions of Electoral Act 2003 and Electoral Act 2011, when the new Electoral Act 2022 changed the rule book completely. How do I mean? It was because of the change in the Electoral Act 2022 that Nigerians saw, even old men who have never voted before, they said, if this is the new rule, then it means that our vote will count. I am going to go and get my PVC. I am going to go and vote. It is because of the content of the Electoral Act, which INEC themselves were campaigning, preaching, teaching, explaining to BBC, to Chatham House, to media houses, to political parties, that this new rule has been signed into law and this new rule will be followed. That was the confidence why all Nigerians came out. All those people that were stabbing, after they've stabbed them in their eyes, they carry bandage and came back, is because they believe that, oh, my one vote might be the change. And now that my vote will count, let me not waste my one vote. Yet, our appeal court judges decided to go back to the rule book that Nigeria never had confidence in and use it to draw their conclusion. Is it not a shame? So, Nigerians, we are going to cut it very short this evening. This thing is about over 70 pages. Tomorrow, we are going to unpack them. You remember all those issues they mentioned one after the other? They address all of them. We can now take them. The issue of subpoena, the issue of the 460,000. We are going to take them one after the other. But I just want to tell us that I like the tone of this appeal. They were strong, they were firm, they were daring. In fact, they challenged the appeal court judges. They told them in their face that they erred in law. Do you know? They erred in law. They told them bluntly that what they did was a miscarriage of justice. And I think you'll be happy for us to take it up from tomorrow, breaking it down, soaking it in, so that you yourself will know what is in the appeal. So that tomorrow, if they tell us another story, you will remember that this thing they are saying is not the way they presented it in the appeal, because once beaten, twice shy. We all need to come back and listen to this appeal. Let's take it one after the other, break them down, discuss them, so that when they start giving their judgment, we will know when they veered off. Don't say, why didn't Labour Party do this? Why didn't they do that? Even when you did not read what is in the appeal. Read it first to know when they are told lie against them. Because many things they put, because it was televised, made it look like Labour Party, their lawyers were such morons that didn't even know how to pray. This, can you imagine? Everything, I will ask yourself, even if it is a child in the first year of law, do you think they will be so careless, so uncoordinated, so completely out of touch that everything they did was thrown into the garbage bin. Not even one was recognized. Check it now, bros. My people, make gonna check them. Make gonna check them. Anyway, I don't know if you have anything to say.
Yeah, Doc, I have a question. I want you to explain to our viewers what are the steps that we'll be looking forward to seeing now that they've submitted this appeal, and we are hoping that the PDP will be filing theirs tomorrow. So after that, what next? Just break it down for us to understand the process.
Well, on the issue of the PDP, I don't even know if they have not submitted the appeal. It's just that this came to my desk because, of course, I am not hiding the fact that even though I am not even a member of Labour Party, but I have tagged myself along Labour Party and P2B because I believe in his credentials. So this came to my desk today. I haven't gotten that of PDP. There's a possibility that they have submitted, or they may try to beat the deadline tomorrow. But what we also don't know is whether the Chicago court has finally frustrated him or helped him. But it is obvious that Atiku has made his case clear in the US. The information I am seeking will help my case. I need it to make an appeal. The appeal has a deadline. So if there is anything that makes Atiku not to get that, I can tell you it was an intentional act. Period. Because what did they say? They said justice delayed is what? Justice denied. If they bring it after the door is already closed, of what purpose? That's number one. Number two is that from tomorrow, we count 60 days. Everything about Supreme Court is going to end in 60 days. The hearing, the defense, everything put together will end in 60 days. I don't know if the Supreme Court would like to televise the presentation because they will still have to appear in the court to be able to argue their case, or whether they will shut us out complete. I don't know, but we'll hear the schedule. We wait for the schedule. It will filter. We will know how it will go. But it would have been nice for them, the Supreme Court of the United States, when it comes to a very volatile, sensitive issues like this, they make it live. They don't televise it, but it is audio. You hear every party arguing their case. Oscar Pistorius in South Africa, the one that shot his girlfriend intentionally or unintentionally, when that case dragged, it was live. The whole world was watching. I can go on. When the United Kingdom, in the issue of Brexit, the Supreme Court was to rule, it was live. In fact, it was live. It was live. So please, I don't know why they wouldn't make this thing live for us to hear, so that from the word go, from every step of the way, we can say our lawyers represented us well. Let them not just come and televise whatever they want to heap on our head. We have seen the petition now. I'm sorry, call it the appeal. We have seen the notice of appeal now. Let them not do it another hide and seek kind of game. Let them open their door. Let us hear. Let us know what we're expecting. But head or tail, this is September. By November, mid-November, everything is over. Everything is over. I am surprised that the president was talking to weakest men that came to see him, and he's telling them that the judiciary has finally consolidated his work. The way he said it, I can't quote him correctly, it's as if this case is over. He has forgotten that the case is not over. that actually the real people who would decide has not given their own vote. And the real people who would decide is the Supreme Court. But like we handled day before yesterday, this same government appointed a lawyer who defended this case as the Minister of Justice. This same Ministry of Justice, in collaboration with National Judicial Council, are flooding the Supreme Court with 9 new justices. I don't know the political undertones of all this and its implication to the outcome of this notice of appeal. But that is why we are saying, let us see. They said there's that proverb that says that when you pick a lice off the body of your pet, show it to that pet so that that pet doesn't think you're pinching. We don't want judgment, we want justice. Justice means dealing with the situation. There is nobody in the world who did not know that INEC dealt with Nigeria unjustly on February 25th. And for the court to endorse it, for whatever reason, without even raising one eyebrow against one thing INEC did not do well, looks like they're all in cahoots in what they did to Nigeria. Not one thing INEC did was wrong. Everything INEC did was right. God forbid. May the Supreme Court not allow this to be, because they're going to set a very bad precedent for Nigeria. They will so empower politicians, and 2027 will be a time where they will practicalize this empowerment. 2027 will be the time when this empowerment will be practicalized. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Doc, thank you. So you've told us that from tomorrow we'll start counting. So from tomorrow till the next 60 days, this case will be over. We'll then know who is the president of Nigeria. You said something. You said the way the president spoke today when we case men went to see him.
No, it's not today. It was I think
okay.
It was over the weekend or thereabout.
Okay. Okay. But you know that he has always spoken in that manner. They speak with so much confidence. Don't forget that Wike came out to say that Tinubu will never lose at the tribunal. He said it, with so much confidence. And you begin to wonder what is giving them that energy, what is giving them that strength to come out, in the public to utter such statements that he can never lose at the tribunal. And that was what we saw. We saw how they messed up with Peter Obi's petition. But like you just said, it is they are doing it against themselves. They might think they are trying to outsmart the Nigerian people, but I think it's going to hurt the judges if they don't deliver justice, if they don't give Nigerians justice. So we look forward to seeing how all this is going to play out at the Supreme Court. Luckily, Peter Obi has been able to beat the the deadline, because it would have been something else if they were not able to gather all these. I know it has been a period of tedious work. Having these 70 pages, I know it has really given them tough time, but thanks to God that they were able to make it. Yes, we look forward to getting justice at the Supreme Court. So guys, this is the update we have for you guys. Let's just keep praying and believing that something will happen at the tribunal. The tribunal will not afford to disappoint Nigerians. But somehow the Minister for Justice was once the lead counsel for the APC, and he's going to be the one to inaugurate. Doctor, please, the judges to oversee this case, have they been inaugurated, or they are yet to be inaugurated?
No. It is after tomorrow. The Chief Justice of the Federation, yes, I'm supposed to have mentioned it. The Chief Justice of the Federation will now select the panel and they inaugurate the panel. The panel will now come and they do the pre-hearing sessions where all the parties will come and set out the rules all of them will abide by, which is a surprising thing because there was a pre-hearing session before the appeal court level, and all the parties followed it, only for them to come over and Labour Party is punished by following the rule that they know that they agreed upon, including the rule that is in the Electoral Act. I quoted from the Electoral Act here, Section 137 of the Electoral Act, that says, as long as there is a certified true copy of a document, you don't need a physical witness again. But the courts completely threw that section of the law inside the dustbin. So the Supreme Court judges will be selected by the Chief Justice of the Federation. Most times he might even include himself, because this is the highest case you can hear in the land, So, and then to be inaugurated, they will sit, they will hear, and then they'll give their judgment. They'll give their judgment.
Yeah, let's just take a look at some of the comments here.
Shadrach says, in summary, says Nigerian appointed judges were not appointed for speaking true justice. I believe he means true. Okay, true justice for the successful governance to build Nigeria. But we appointed gamers for upside down laws. Is it and guidance of impunity? It's a pity indeed. It's a pity.
Okay, this person wrote in German. Dankeschön. God bless you guys for the update.
Yeah. Adeyemi, for the tribunal judges whom saw black and call it white, don't worry, please. I always feel that I don't like stereotyping. Let nobody suffer on account of another person's error. As a Christian, the Bible says the soul that sin is the soul that will die. Please, I don't want one innocent child or one innocent grandchild or one innocent person to suffer because of a covenant another person made somewhere. You understand what I mean? I don't know what to say, but I am not optimistic. Well, as I've said, we are head or tail, we are the winner. It depends on how we see this thing called victory.
Yes.
Victory is what we're already riding on the wings of victory since last year. Since
the
day to be declared, Nigerians are riding on the wings of victory. Yes, we are winning this war.
We've already won because Peter Obi has exposed the system, has exposed the rot, in our so many government bodies, what they do. We've come to know all these things because Peter Obi joined this race. So I think we've won already. And we are believing that the judiciary will the Supreme Court will also help us to declare our victory, at this final point.
There's a statement Thomas Sankara made. This Thomas Sankara, I think he was killed in 1987 or thereabout. He was assassinated from Burkina Faso. He said that you can kill a man who is championing revolution, but you cannot kill that revolution. The guy who took over from the government of Burkina Faso today hadn't been born when Sankara died. But today, he took off from where the man stopped, as if Sankara handed over to him. After how many years? After about 40 years.
Nigeria will be liberated. No matter how long it takes, Nigeria will be liberated. Yeah, so guys, we'll be ending it at this point. Thank you all for joining us today. Please do well to equally join us tomorrow. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it for others to watch, and subscribe to our channel. We're asking you for that support. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell for future uploads. So at this point, we want to say thank you for being a part of today's live session. Doc, thank you so much for all your thoughts. And have a very good and sound sleep. Good night and bye.
Let's do it tomorrow. Good.
Yeah.